thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy. And if you do, then don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you stay up to date on further content. Julian, welcome to Shallow Star. I am your host, the Renegade Rashad, and this will be a beautiful look, I would hope to say, at a certain set of dreadnoughts. This video has been requested, so those of you on board, members of the Republic and our allies within the KDF and the Federation, welcome. I hope you enjoy this look at the latest iteration to the SCIMITAR. Now, we have got 3 ships to look at here. They all have their own general aesthetics. We will not be going too much into visual aesthetic changes, as unfortunately I do not have access to that as a Romulan. But we will take a detailed look at the 3 primary aesthetics of the new Tier 6 line. Well, not so new now, but the Tier 6 line of the SCIMITAR. Hopefully we'll be able to see some finer details. And if you guys do wish to see more information upon the Tier 5 variations, well, please make sure to send in a comment below so that I know this and I will look into doing it. But for now, we must take a drop into the new Romulan system, and we shall begin with the tactical variation known as the Khopesh. So without further ado, may I introduce to you. So here we see the magnificent and beautiful Khopesh class. This is the tactical variation of the new Tier 6 iteration SCIMITAR. Now she has a fine looking ship and has quite a lot of interesting details on her. The biggest note to make is the fact that she has exceptionally changed her aesthetics, same for the other 3 actually, to the original SCIMITAR. Normally I would say this could be a bad thing, but she does keep the standard space frame that you'd see on a SCIMITAR, so it's not too bad. Everything important is still there. Khopesh is looking quite aggressive, I will say though, but she shows more functionality than the SCIMITAR did, which again I approve of. First of all to point out is the new wing types. It can't be ignored, can it? So let's start off with the wings. I mean, look at them. They've gone from a very jaggedy, sort of, looked more like broken panes that had just been slapped on top of each other, to this very slick, sharp and angular edge. It's very strong, it looks far more fierce and blade-like. Actually kind of more terrifying. This whole ship has a more blade feel to it. Good for a tactical variant, I guess. If she was to release the plates and lift them, well, you can sort of see how they all are. Obviously it's very small at the top, huge towards the bottom. She'll have quite the sharp aesthetic change. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show this because for some reason it's bugging out for me and won't actually engage the effect. At least not on this ship. Or the other Tier 6s for that matter, which is a bit weird. Nice thing I've noticed is the fact that you have these green panel lights at the tips of the wings. This is probably the Phaleron system / in my case plasma wave system, because I find Phaleron to be inhumane. Dusting an enemy is a little bit messed up in my opinion, so yeah, I'm just gonna back away from that one. So I do find quite interesting here though is the sensory pods. Now sensory pods are these things you see on the top, which have the sharp angular design. Originally they look more like cannons on the original SCIMITAR type. This more sharper blade aesthetic is a nice feel to it, but I don't know if I fully agree with it. Same for the underneath ones. They're exact same design underneath as the ones on top. They're just smaller. Would have been nicer if they had a bit of a different design so that they fitted in a little bit more with the blade work that you can see as looks like tusks on this ship. That's a bit weird as well. Why has it got like tusks on it? And again, these tusks sort of come back. It's just a weird stretch in space and a little bit odd. I'm not entirely sure why I think of that. Another thing that I find weird is you've got your deflector dish right at the front here. It's very nice, glaring, kind of cyclopsy at your face. Nice look there. Not entirely sure the bridge is. Actually, I know exactly where the bridge is. It's right there. Right there with the windows just underneath it. A little bit weird. But why on earth is the torpedo launcher? It's raised. It's actually raised up so that if it fires the torpedoes directly forwards, they are going to hit this lip at the front. That is a horrible design choice. So these torpedoes, they could have at least angled the torpedo launchers down a little bit, so it looks like if they were to go straight forwards at high speed, they're not going to slam into the nose of the ship from the back of it. They can shoot the nose of the ship in the rear. How does that make sense? Why? It's probably the weirdest design choice out of everything on this ship. Don't like it. Don't like where those torpedo pods are. But I'm not the one who has to fire the torpedoes, so. Then again, I am the one commanding this ship. Damn. I'm in trouble. That being said, though, something I do like is these new nacelles. The two low and the two above nacelles, they're exactly the same design, much like the Sentry pods. However, the lower ones are smaller, yet again. With this being said, they have a very beautiful design to them. They look extremely strong and agile. The impulse drives that are built onto them as well looks really nice. Or are they impulse drives? I'm not 100% sure. They seem like it, but then you've got this at the back of the ship, and this I question. This I think is an impulse drive, or the actual impulse drive, purely because if these follow it, that's impulse drives built into the warp nacelles, something we have seen before, but not necessarily something I support. Still, it's quite a nice choice and iteration. And yeah, the nacelles are definitely my favourite point on this ship. I also love this entire section you can see underneath in the central area. Gives the ship a bit more of a habitational feeling, considering this would be a Republic build, or maybe Tal Shiar might have tried to build this ship. I sincerely hope not, because the Tal Shiar, but yeah, it's besides the point right now. I actually just said that. Well, Still being said, the whole smooth, rounded design does work really well for me, and I do quite like it. If a lot of it was still the more squarish, boxy design that the SCIMITAR had before, combined in with some of these roundish bits, I find it a bit weird. The wings would work, but the rest of it wouldn't really work for me, so I'm kind of glad the whole thing's been smoothed out to go along with it. Just take the tusks away, or redesign them a little bit, because the forward bit is great, but the bit going backwards is a bit weird to me. And lift that nose up, because I don't want to be shooting myself with my own torpedoes. Then we've got the hangar bay. The hangar bay is probably the most interesting bit to me. Look at it, dead center at the top here. Now this is launching the drones out of it, possibly, but normally launches fighters. This is the idea is the fact this uses Scorpion fighters. And I guess the hangar bay is more than big enough for that. But the problem is, it seems like it's the only hangar bay to me. And that is a little bit worrying. It's a bit sad. Now, as for weapon points, this ship seems lacking. Admittedly, this ship is designed primarily for an attack arc. You got two rear emitters that I can see straight off the bat. Actually these spikes, now I see these spikes have some use. They have rear emitters on them. A bit blindsided because the nacelles are in the way of them, but I guess they could be firing backwards. There's no other emitter points I see rear-wise. Going forwards, I guess you could say these green tips here, much like the reds, are emitters as well. So you could have 2 high output emitters at the front. Nose of the ship also has its own emitter points. So that's 4. Hold on. I do know the sentry pods themselves can fire from them, so yet there's more emitter points there, but hold on, I've just realised something. It's 5 forward, 2 aft? 3 aft? I can't remember. 5-3. That actually kind of makes sense with the weapon points now. It's actually aesthetically designed to match with its own weapons. Weird. Does just mean I am missing where one of the weapon points are at the back, but that's my problem, not theirs. Pretty well armed, I guess. Considering the entire wings are fatal on emitters, it is exceptionally well armed. Quite a strong ship, I must say. Khopesh looks good. Functionality-wise is a nice design. It's a nice looking ship, I've got to give her that. But there's not too much to really say on her beyond that. The whole design is really nice, I will give her that. I love how the plates feel like they interlock with each other. The wings have got a nice layered feel to them, along with the sharpness. I would comment more on the facades, but again, we seem lacking with the facades. Bit of a shame. I wonder if the others will give us a bit more to say. So let's take a look now at the operations variant in just a moment. Now, I'm going to be honest. Before these, I always review and take a look at the, well, stats of the ship. And the operations got a distinctive amount of hate from me, because where the science fits well in science and the tactical fits well in tactical, this one was weak in its operations position, and well, I hate it on it a bit. But let's give it some love. It's wearing currently the upgrade hull type, and well, I can say a lot more beauty about this ship. So let's get started, and we'll start immediately on the sensor pods that I'm pulling in sharp on here. Looking underneath it, we've got the beautiful sensor pods. Now, these look far more aesthetically pleasing to me. Not only do they seem like sensory dishes that could be at the front of them, but now they also look like weapon emitters too. So they actually give me the feel that this ship can be firing cannons at you, as well as beam arrays, and really devastate the enemy. They're quite a powerful look, very tough looking. We'll go up and take a look at the top ones, and am I like too close to something? Let me zoom in, and I'm loving this. I must remember this position for future reference. Really good look now at the sensory pod though, and it's just beautiful. It's such a nice design. I love the crisp detailing as well that goes on at the front of that ship, of that sensory pod, because it makes it look like it has functionality in use. Unlike the simple blade that was on the Khopesh, that is actually not so much my favourite aesthetic thing about it. Again, this ship gets even more love from me now because the main body of the ship is absolutely gorgeous. It still suffers from an issue. I'll get there in a second. But it is really nice in its design. So, yeah, the deflector seems to be missing. Okay, I can live with that somewhat. I mean, you got the hangar bay, is still definitely on the top here. I want to say that this is the deflector at the front now, which is nice because it's no longer Cyclopsy eye like. It is a bit more rounded, and if that's the deflector dish, that is a really unique aesthetic design for a deflector. It feels armoured, it feels defensive, which is right for an operations ship. It is a more armoured ship than a tactical or science. So this is great to see again, and I just love the way it fits in there. The bridge itself looks heavily armoured. It's got these grillings up beside it. But, sorry, right here. So this is gorgeous. Absolutely love the detail that's gone into this. a lovely set of plate work in the armor, so it looks layered. Like you can, if you punch a hole through one bit of hole, you're probably not going to breach the ship. You're probably not going to get a hole breached that easy. You'll break one layer, and suddenly you'll be looking at the second layer. It's like, what? And that is just what I want to see on a ship. Sure, there's windows on the top part there, which kind of argues against it a little bit for me. It says to me that you've got your weaker out layers, but there is defensible armor plating going inwards in the ship, so that the main core areas won't be just penetrate straight through. If you fired a spinal lance at this ship, it's not going to pull a vulture and go boom straight through it. This one's probably going to go through 2 layers and then bounce off the 3rd layer. It's like, yeah, so you got a little bit too close to my warp core there. I'm going to have to ask you to stop. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, I was... No awkwardness in where I was just looking to talk. My word. Excuse me. Now, there's more detailings I can go into here, but the first one I want to bring up... It's not going to let me stay close enough to it. You got to bear in mind the size of the scimitar. And these sensory pods have these little tube bits at the front there, and that looks hollow to me. Have we got a fighter launcher section? That to me looks like a place where scorpions can literally just go tube, 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 tube out of that rapidly. If that's what that design stylization is there, literally a launch tube for scorpion fighters. I mean, it's not huge, so it could only be scorpion fighters and other small shuttle type or pods coming out of there. But if that's what that is, a quick launch mechanism, love it. Absolutely love the idea. Now we're going to move down here and we're going to get to my argumentative point again. If you look, it's not so obvious because it's not lit up or blue, but it's got the exact same torpedo launcher pod, but with a difference. So if I level that out a little bit there, you can just about see where the torpedo pod is. It's no longer level with the nose of the ship. The nose of the ship is just a tiny bit higher. So if it fires and the torpedo went purely straight forward, it would just miss the nose of the ship. So obviously don't angle down as you're firing, and you won't shoot the front of yourself. Not bad, that's kind of good. It's been actually thought out here. Instead of just being a straightforward launcher, they've got it so it's tilted down just a little bit, just enough to fire under the nose, and that is brilliant. Whoever designed this variant, hats off to you, you thought about it. Now, more things to point out there is I actually really do love that nose section. Not only does it look sleek and strong, but it's still got the fins that are going backwards. The fins just sort of fit in with the design now. They now look like they've got weapon points in the front of them, so you've got some beam emitters to it. I'll go more into that in a second. Plus, the way they feel back just gives a sort of streamlined look rather than it's arcing for no apparent reason. It gives a nice feel, a bit of intimidation, but that isn't over the top. Now, something I am going to absolutely enjoy bringing up now, and that is the wings. These are my favourite wings. And with good reason, I like to think, guys. With good reason. Look at the plating effects for a start. These are a more heavily modular and reinforced variation of the Scimitar's wings. They're essentially Scimitar's wings if more time was given to them to be constructed. The plate armor on them looks amazing. No matter what whole armor type you use, you always get this lovely plate armor aesthetic on it, which I absolutely adore. The weapon points, you can feel like the phalanx emitter has been built into them, but because they're green to me, I'm like, they're not phalanx emitters anymore! They're plasma emitters! This is a plasma wave generator! And it's a little bit more friendly feelings because I don't want to be using dusting weapons. But seriously, it's nice how these emitters are there, and they actually feel like they're modular weapon points as well. So they could be firing a plasma beam out of them, which would give you multiple. Due to the way the strip on them works, it would be very heavily forward arcing. Not quite like a Federation phaser beam strip. But that is still on one wing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 possible beam points firing forwards. Now the operations is suddenly the better DPS. That don't make sense to me. Hey, probably why I use this wings on my DPS variant. Lovely design. When these wings are fully spread out, and if I can, I will show you them spread out. I'll try many recordings to get it to do it. But they are gorgeous, I've got to say. These are the nicest wings of the lot. Going back and you get this lovely tough pylon that's going all the way through. This pylon to me just gives you strength to the wing. It's my favourite part of that wing. Go back and you got these absolutely gorgeous warp nacelles. Now on the Khopesh you notice they were angled. On this one they're flat. So they were straight forwards or upside down, beautifully thought out. They're reinforced. The pylon connection point is very nice between the two. You can see lovely strength as reinforcements have been put in. The actual way it curves and is smooth actually feels very agile as well. So it's like this ship has been thought about for its aerodynamics. It's a huge ship, but the Scimitar did take off from a planet as it was built on a planet's surface. So aerodynamics must have been somewhat thought about, right? My absolute favourite point though on this ship, now next, that impulse array. It's not bland, it's not boring. The Khopesh has a Millennium Falcon engine array. Flat and straight, and that works on the Millennium Falcon type ship, which is very small in design, but this ain't small in design, this is huge. Give some style to that impulse array, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. I've just noticed something else, and I'm going to have to bring it up now. You can see the warp grills in these nacelles, and the best part about those nacelles is they have line of sight. It's a bit of an angle, but they have line of sight to each other. Lower pair to upper pair. That's good. Oh, that is actually really nicely thought out. I love it. Whoops, glitching a little bit. I do love all the windows on this ship as well. This ship feels like it's more habitable. This is a flagship of the Romulan Republic. You've got to remember that. And the idea is then, this ship has to be more habitable for families and that. As you see, they have ships that they actually have to use as a home base. Families, the Romulan Republic themselves live on their ships. Morihan has not completely adjusted yet. They don't have cities. They can't take the whole population properly. It's good to see ships like this that have been thought out so that they could possibly be holding on the families. Though I don't think I'd want ships on the flagship that... families on the flagship that be going in the battle. One last thing to bring up. The Basards. Now you can just spot them. They're very small. Don't like that on them. I wish there was more to say about them because of that. But they are a little bit more defined on this ship variation, so I do approve greatly. Now then, time to take a look at a slightly different variant, shall we? Time for the science variation. Oh, this is going to be fun. Now this ship, this one mitigates my nacelle complaint, but pose me new ones to throw in. Well, let's take a look at this one, shall we? I didn't really have weapon points to point out on the other ship. This one, at least this one gives me more weapon points than the after that. Now then, where do we start? Well, let's start on this one like we did on the last one, shall we? You can see the armor plate's a bit better. I'm using Romulan hull armor 3 now, which gives you a more metallic feel. And the plates give slightly better positioning. Now the sensory pods, these top two and underneath, you can see them at the moment. They look more blade-like again, but they're a middle ground between what you get with the Khopesh and the Shamshir. where there is either a blade looking or a cannon looking, and this is kind of good. The only problem is, to me, they don't look functional much anymore. Possibly the three sort of, you can see these three nicks on them. Possibly that's the sensory grill, so that will give me a full just sensory usage. Kind of a nice idea. It also seems a bit of a shame. Though, having said that, I do like the way they look. Sure, they don't have a functionality look, but they look good. I'll give them that, they do look good. The bridge itself looks pretty nice as well. I have got a bit of an issue with the deflector though. Like, where is it? Seriously. We can guess what the deflector is based on positioning, but there's now windows on it, so that can't be a deflector. Because you wouldn't have people that close to the deflector. This ship lost its deflector. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. I mean, it's a nice aesthetic touch at the front there, but not so great. The torpedo launcher again is fixed. Luckily, you can see really well on this ship, thanks to its positioning right now, and that it fires straight under the nose and there's no contact point. But that is a hell of a tube. High-end particle, high-yield particle launcher, I'm going to say that is. Particle emissions torpedo, one that's gigantic and makes a huge-ass explosion. Might as well fire a warp core out of that if you want to be firing that much firepower. God damn! Something tells me that's a shielding grid in front of it, which would make sense for a science ship, but it is a little bit weird to see. Now, what I do like is the hangar sets. So there's some weird shielded area at the top here. You can see in the blue. Maybe that's the deflect edition this time around. Sure. They could have easily decided on the science ship, no, we're not going to have the deflector at the front here like the rest of the build. We're going to do a massive internal overhaul and put the deflector at the back. Okay, sure, maybe. That's a possibility, I guess. I doubt it. But I don't see why they would do that, should I say. But maybe. Or that is a shield, a form of particle shielding or phase shielding that allows you to have your fighters and drone ships within there launch and basically engage themselves and launch through it, protecting the hangar bay while simultaneously allowing for easy launch. But you've also got a hangar underneath. Love it! 2 hangars on this ship, brilliantly thought out, brilliantly placed. They are quite tough looking too. I like it. Now, it also looks like they got the rapid launch tubes here as well. Doesn't look flat to me, so I'm going to call them rapid launch tubes and say we got it again. Not bad. Definitely looks like it's not flat and it's going internal to me, when you look at it from an angle. Not so much at front. At front it looks like it is flat, but hey, can't see too much detailing up close here. It's a nice touch and I do like it. So it looks like they've got rapid fighter launchers, a good hangar bay defense field, or maybe a deflector, and a huge shuttle bay / hangar bay underneath that is right behind the torpedo pods. They can't launch straight out. They will hit that torpedo pod, but it's not so bad. I do like it. Again, you got the lower hull section that looks great. Nice nacelle-like design. The bussards are huge on this though. Line of sight is there again, you can see it. They're working in the same pairing as on the other ship, except for the lower one does not have it. So you've got the warp grill, and the lower, smaller ones don't have the grill. It's can't get quite line of sight properly here. Something's wrong, guys. Not entirely sure what's going on at the back. Those are extra additional impulse drives. That's interesting. Big thing I've noticed is, one, there's that weird platform at the back here. Now this makes me feel like the science variant is the more family-based ship, if I'm honest. It's because it's got these weird extra nooks and crannies that are doing little extra things. So you've probably got more recreational ability on it. Now, what used to be the impulse array in the Samshir variant, the operations variant, is now covered over, and the impulse array has been put down, lower down. It's also, that's a lot more, as I was joking, Millennium Falconish, as it's going right around a strip. Although they've made it a bit more squared and blocky rather than a singular strip. Okay, the detailings are better there. My only issue is... why? It's like the aft of the ship has been built exactly the same as the operations variant, but they decided to do the impulse array differently. And then they added a weird tail on it at the top of the aft section, so it can wag its tail at you if it wants to. It's a bit weird. That's all I'm saying. But I will say this. I love the size of the actual nacelles. The top ones themselves look really powerful, so I can imagine great speed from this ship. And the whole core section does streamline to itself and look really good together. You got minor fin/whiskers at the front of the ship. It's quite a nice design. It's still not my favourite. The engineering definitely is my favourite for looks. But the wings are where I lose it. I don't like the wings. For a start, the greenish on the green tips are on the operations. It's similar to the operations, except that they're just tips of the wings instead of points, and doesn't work as well for me. They just feel like high output plasma emitters or just strange emitter points. They're taking the full tip and it seems like a structural weak point really to me. I get the fact they've gone for a really sharp blade light aesthetic on this ship. That fits the tactical variant more than this one, and I would say it's a nice thing, but it's just not. The blades are a nice design and would look great if it was a singular wing coming down swooping over. Even more so if these were upper, so instead of being struck down, if these were positioned like the Hawk's wings above the ship, why am I doing my arms? It would probably work more for me with the wings style, but because they are below it, it doesn't feel right. And I know putting the wings upwards would be a massive aesthetic change for the scimitar, but there's nothing wrong with them doing that. Having one set that positions itself slightly differently. Because you never know, someone might have wished the wings were up. I know I happily have my wings in an upwards position on my Faith Intel escorts, so why not here? It's a bit of a shame. Having said that, that's my only thing I don't like about this variant and design. That and the deflector, so it's... yeah, it's not so bad. The energy tubing in the middle here is a little bit interesting. I noticed there's an energy grill coming down, so that probably is the deflector. So I really don't like it now. The detailing and bridge positions, the windows themselves really give you an idea of the size of this scimitar. It's huge. It's way bigger than the original scimitar is, that's for certain. I would not want to be a Mogai coming across this ship. Well, it's a lovely, nice design. The plate armoring and the fins and grills all work really well. It's good. Operations is definitely my favourite. I would then more say this one. Despite its wings, I would still say this one more, the science variant, than the Khopesh's design. From a personal standpoint. Now, I did say I'll try and show you the wings opening, so let's take a moment and take a look, shall we? If I can achieve it. Okay, so to achieve the wings opening, I have had to have taken my lovely Samshir class looking Khopesh into a battleground. I've got someone targeted. I've actually had to change my console set up so that I'm using the old tier 5s, and here is a lovely look. Even the sentry pods at the top lift. And look at that. Gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. It's a beautiful look. Even as the sails move, I think it is an absolutely gorgeous look to the ship. Frankly, all the ships look amazing, especially when you get the Reman shields on it. Ah, that's beautiful. Yep, that's exactly what I'm using right now. The Reman shields gives this lovely chrome aesthetic feel to the ship. Sleek, agile, powerful. Beautiful. I wish you could see more of it. You know, I simply can't do this ship credit. They have really well thought out the design behind this ship, and I'm just glad that they did it as well, because it's not an easy ship to reskin and redesign, and STO has done a beautiful job. My personal opinion on each one, well, Samshir, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 to. There are a few things I'll alterate. I would love to see a bit more facade to the ship, but otherwise it's absolutely gorgeous. The Khopesh tactical variant, that one gets the lowest score from me of 7 out of 10. That's purely because there are a few too many niggly things for me. And I forgot the name of the science one, but the science variation, well, I'm going to be a bit nice/nasty to it. It gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It's the middle ground one, but purely because it's got the better than the cells overall, but it would be nice if those better than the cell aesthetics also had the armored upper fin that these other two designs have. The Khopesh and the Samshir have these extra slick designs over the top of the nacelles, and if you just added that to the nacelle design on the science, that would have made those nacelles completely perfect in my own personal opinion. Nothing I'd alterate from that point onwards. The ship is really well thought out in all cases though, with the exception of the Tactical's torpedo pod. I like the ships. Can't think of much I would change in them looks wise personally. You gotta give credit to the STO team where credit is due. But what is your guys' opinion? I would love for you guys to go in the comment section below now and tell me what you think of the ships. Also, I'm going to say to you right now that thank you for watching all the way to the end. The support you show me by doing so is greatly appreciated. And if there is a ship you want me to take a look at next, be it review visually or review it stats wise, then be sure to comment that below and I will keep that in mind and we'll basically log them in to be done as soon as possible. And well, don't forget to check out in the description itself my social media. That way you can really keep up to date with everything I'm doing. And you can even share your own video clips or screenshots if you wish to under the crew clips and crew clip nominations tag on Discord. If you do that, there's a really good chance that I will see it, probably love it, because to be fair, I like quite a lot of things that seem to get shared. You guys are quite a creative community, and I will throw it into one of my videos with all attributions there, so I will say who's shared it with me. If you got YouTube, make sure I know so I can sort of tag that into it as well. If you Twitch, tell me, I will add that link in so that people know. And it's just a way that I can share you guys as well in my videos. So yeah, share nominations. Thank you for watching guys. And for now, get off my ship. I need to get it out of here. Ciao for now. Helm, take us out.